No, I'm restreaming.
Oh. Hey, we're live. Hello, everybody. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. How are you?
I don't know. I have no idea. It feels like I go to bed thinking, hey, wonderful, I'm gonna be able to rest. And then 5.5 hours later, I wake up and I go, oh man, that wasn't long enough. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But hey, it doesn't matter. It's still gonna be a great day and I'll get to sleep when I'm dead. Which
Yeah,
hopefully
there you
will
go.
be many, 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 many decades in the future.
You know, all the burnout coaches are going to call us now.
Yeah.
It's the phone is ringing off the hook, man. It's like Jerry
Yeah,
Lewis over.
that's okay. Hey, thank you for having me and Stephen on your show last night. It was such a great show. I had fun. He's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah, Stephen Laverne, man. He is just he's cooler than a ceiling fan. The guy is just absolute great heart, man. His integrity, his
Yes.
experience. Like I wish he was in HR when I was working. I really that would be a great
Yeah.
thing. Good guy, good character go a long way, doesn't it? Work it,
Yeah.
life and business.
So, so pleasant to work with, so cool, calm, and collective. Just, we're going to have a conversation. I love that when he said that about doing an interview and telling the candidates, listen, just chill. We're just going to talk. This is
Yeah,
about getting to know one another, right? So this is not, you're going to show up and we're going to make you jump through hoops. And yeah, I really loved it. It was a great, great show. Thank you for having me again and again and again. Hey, I absolutely want to do a shameless plug about the Mother's Day Hound special next Wednesday, guys. So, Mike, talk to us about that just for a little bit, would you please?
all right. I haven't spilled the beans, but I'll go ahead and do it for your show if anybody's watching here, because I know they
Yay!
are. So yeah, no, actually, me and you, Isabel, are putting this on, and so we're gonna have some really outstanding hounds men, right? Men pack leaders, going out there and promoting, amazing hound moms, right? So it's going to be a fantastic event. It's going to be a great time to network, get to know amazing high level heart centered professionals. It's going to be a blast. So bring yourself, bring your friends, bring everybody. Go in there, have some fun. 7 p.m. Let loose next week, and just really celebrate mothers because they do a lot for us.
Yes.
Whether yours is living or you have a fond memory of, like me, still celebrate that. Come out there and celebrate it with us, and let's push up the hounds, ladies, man. And these are ladies who do things behind the scenes. You might see them, you might not. But they are standout people. They push others up, man. I am super excited. I cannot wait because we're attracting other people. They're seeing that. They're seeing you guys and who you are and the results, and it's working. So anybody out there, shameless plug, hey, well earned. You're looking for a heart center pack of people to push you up. That and here you go. And speaking of that, there's Chasen. That's our
I
one of our biggest
know.
cheerleaders. Yeah, that
Jason
guy.
is so freaking amazing. I love him so much. Hey, and speaking of greatness, talk to me about my guest today, dear doctor, working on her second PhD for crying out loud, Melissa Robinson Weinmiller. I mean, this gal is just phenomenal. That's the end of that sentence. But what would you add to that?
No, that there's nothing to add. I mean, she is absolutely amazing, phenomenal individual. Um, the fact that she has shared her story takes tremendous courage.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not taking credit for this, but that's what makes my heart happy. That we create
Yes.
an ecosystem that can help superstars like her, feel safe enough to go out there and share that story to help and impact other people. I just can't imagine having to go and kind of relive that every time she tells it, but yet she does it for your benefit, for other
Yeah.
people who are struggling. And that,
Yeah.
man, so that's the poster child for the hounds right there, right?
Yes.
So love her, love the opportunity. She is extremely inspiring. So I'm going to shut up because I can't wait to have her. Listen, I want to hear from her. Nobody wants to hear from me right now.
All right. Well, beautiful Sindel running the back end of my show, being the awesome producer extraordinaire. And if you need an executive VA, none of this little, side hustle stuff, executive VA, please contact Sindel Dunn. I will shamelessly talk about her until she is exactly where she needs to be in her life. Beautiful, honey. Roll the intro. Mike, thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. Have a great show, guys.
Business is no longer only about products and services. More than ever, it's about connection and community. Business is about people. And that's why I created these live events. Every week, join me in discovering one remarkable individual. No shop talk here. It's about who they are and not what they do. My name is Isabel Fortin, and welcome to People, Passion, and Purpose. Guys, I know I say that every week, and every week I mean it because I invite people that I absolutely adore, whether I've spoken to them or not in the past. And this lady right here is no exception to that rule. I love her, love her. I run events with her. I speak to her almost on the daily basis, and honestly, almost just because I don't want to come across as a stalker, which I totally am when it comes to her. And without further ado, let's big welcome to Melissa Robinson Weinmiller. Melissa, I'm really sorry. I cannot bring myself to call you doctor. I know you have a PhD. I know you're smart. I know you're working on your second one. For the love of God, I don't understand why, but geez, Louise, I can't. I just can't call you doctor. So I'm gonna just call you Melissa because that's your name, right?
Yeah, that's
There you
fine.
go. How you doing? Thank you for being here.
I am so excited to be here. Although with the beautiful intro you guys gave me, now I'm like, I got to live up to this.
No.
I'm gonna have to like
No,
hit
no,
the
no, no.
gas.
You are no. You're getting this all wrong. You already do, and that's why we gave you this intro. It's not the other way around, dude. Come on. But yeah, you've been a member of the Hounds for a little bit. How long? 6 months, about?
No, like 2 or 3.
What?
Yeah.
Holy goodness gracious! My balls on fire. It's you just showed up in a major way, and you support everybody, and you show up, and you run an event with me, and you run an event with the beautiful James Valentine and Lisa Marie, and it's just you're an all in kind of person.
Yeah. Well, I think those human connections are the most important thing.
Yes,
And
they are.
yes, I was going to say, I know I'm preaching to the choir on that, but if I'm going to be in a group of such heart forward people, I know you guys say heart centered, but like you guys lead with your hearts.
Yes.
And heck yeah, I want to be involved and I want to
Yeah.
be loud and proud and I mean, champion this because man, it's amazing.
Card carrying member.
Heck yeah.
Hey, you match your shirt to your glasses today.
I did. I didn't mean to, but
Oh, okay. I matched everything to my hair.
yeah, but you're the purple lady. You've got like this purple
I know.
aura that comes
Yeah.
from deep.
I know. I don't know why. I fell into purple, and I've shared that with you privately before, but when my hair just fades out because it's not permanent dye, and when it fades out, I really come to a point where I need a purple adjustment. And it's not just in the hair color, it's in the attitude, it's in the confidence, and it's in everything. But hey, this show is not about me. So let's dive into this. My friend, dead or alive, who has
Yes.
had the most influence on your life and why?
This was a really tricky question for me because since I've moved so much and I've been so many places, it's like, well, this person was here and this person was here and this person was here. But if I had to pick, it's actually a group of people that really had a huge influence on where my life would go post being a musician. It was my group fitness class when I was out west. Because as my entire world was tumbling down, and in my professional music side of things, I was dealing with people with like no empathy and that didn't care and that were perfectly happy to mangle me. I would go and teach this fitness class. I mean, I was homeless for a little while, so I was scratching. And I would go into this fitness class and everybody would be there and we'd turn on the music and it'd be, yay, everybody. And then afterwards, they would make sure that I was fed. They would like just bring me bags of groceries. They would just check in on me. I mean, I didn't tell them everything that was going on because they didn't need to know. But this was like my bastion of sanity. They called themselves the back row gang because they were always in the back row with their weights, ready to go, ready to cheer, ready to woohoo. And it was just so different from what I was experiencing on the other side of my life.
Yeah.
And seeing this empathy from these people juxtaposed with the lack of empathy from the others, that's what really got me thinking about well, what's the disconnect? Why is this like this? What can I do about this? So, yeah.
So they somehow led you to where you are.
Yeah, they did.
Wow. It's always so amazing to me, and Jason is one of the best person to talk about that, and alongside you, obviously, but it really doesn't take much to make a difference in people's lives. It really does not take much.
Yes.
It just show up, do one kind thing. That's it. Just see the person's value, see the person's humanity, see them for who they are. Let them feel that they are cared for. And that's usually enough. And that's what your story is. What you just shared, that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
yeah. That's
Well,
beautiful.
it's like Maya Angelou said, you know, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And how hard is it to just make that human connection and feel a little bit?
Yeah, and I don't want to go too deep into this because you and I we can sidetrack off of talking about you for a long, long time because that's that you I think that you don't mind the spotlight when the spotlight is not directly on you, but on what you're talking about. Um, but the thing, and I agree with that. I agree with that quote from Maya Angelou. I mean, how can you disagree with Maya Angelou? Period.
Yes.
However, the only however I'm going to bring is some people are going to feel crappy regardless of what you do for them.
Yes.
So show up, show kindness, see humanity, show empathy. You and I have a recurring, by the way, next week. Shameless plug. We're doing an event. No, that's not true. The week after, Monday, May 13th. And when we talk about empathy, and we talk about empathy in the business and empathy in our lives and empathy in our families and our human connection, and that's important, is just some people are determined to feel crappy and to stay in their crap. And that's extremely sad, but you can't save them.
No. And that's absolutely true, which is why empathy isn't just a free for all. You do have to have boundaries. And even when you're creating this connection, you're never taking responsibility for the other person.
Yeah.
So there is a balancing act there, but that doesn't mean that you should run away from it altogether, which is what a lot of people do.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Okay, so you and I, we're going to come out publicly and share this. You and I, the first time we had a one-on-one, it was during a Hounds of Business community networking event, the first ever. And we were paired together 3 times in a row for a 5-minute session. And when we got to the second one, we didn't ask to go back to the main room and be matched with somebody else. And when we were paired together for the third time, we just carried on this conversation. And we spoke about Mozart's and opera and Kiss and ABBA and Prince, Prince,
Yes,
our beloved
the
Prince
purple
and
one.
David Bowie and all these things. So I'm guessing that I know I could have an educated guess as to the answer to my next question. But honey, what is or are your passions and how did you discover them?
Well, obviously, the first one and the one that goes back the farthest is music. You can take the girl out of music, but you're never taking the music out of the
No.
girl.
Amen.
It's
Hot
just not.
damn and hallelujah.
And it actually goes back further than my memory, if you want to know the truth. I mean,
Mm.
even at like a super young age, my mom, I found my baby book. You remember the old days? They would like keep
Yes.
a baby book, and there's
Yes.
like this nasty, gnarly brown chunkier blanket and like all this stuff in
A
there.
piece of hair from your first haircut. And
Yeah, yeah. And I actually found where my mom had written that even, super young, that I would tap into this. So,
Oh,
and I would bounce and I would be, as in rhythm as a toddler's going to be, or that kind
yes.
of thing. And
Yeah.
that it just always made me happy. Because the flip side of that as well is that I was extremely hyper. So
Mm.
I think in a different day, in a different age, I probably would have been diagnosed. But because we're talking in the 70s, there wasn't a diagnosis. So even as a young kid, I knew if my mom put on the song Wipeout, you remember with the drums and yeah, that my job was to go and run around the dining room table as fast and hard as I could.
God.
Yep, like training
Oh,
a
I'm
dog.
sure she used that tool too.
Oh, she did.
Oh my God, that's fabulous. What a smart cookie.
Yep,
Wow.
yep.
So how did it come to consciousness for you?
It didn't really come to consciousness that it was something that I really, really wanted to pursue until I started taking piano. And then
Mm,
that was even a little bit later because it was just something I did. But because we moved every 2 years, I didn't really have stability. I didn't have
mm,
family. Friends would come and go. People came and went, that kind of thing.
yeah,
And it took until I was kind of in a little later, eighth grade, high school, to
yeah.
figure out that this was the thing that was creating stability for me and that
Mm.
this is what I wanted to do because I had.
That was the constant in your life.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm. And how, like, when did you say, okay, I'm going to do this professionally? This is what I'm going to do to earn a living.
Junior year of high school.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so instrument of choice.
French horn.
Yeah, I'm judging you a little bit on that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know. I know. And not too harshly, because I mean, anybody who can play the French horn truly deserves respect. It's a really, like any wind instruments are hard, but yeah, I'm curious to see why you chose French horn.
The truth is, so because we bounced around, every time I would enter a new band program, they would throw a different instrument at me. So like I started on flute, and then I went to trombone, and then we went to Iowa, and they needed
Yeah.
French horn. So I got on French horn, and I really worked at it. And my junior year of high school is when I won my first solo competition to stand up in front of an orchestra and
Mm.
play the Strauss First Horn Concerto. And it was at that moment, standing up in front of the orchestra with this brass beast in my hands
Yes,
and
it's
just
big, yeah.
feeling the sound fill the hall, that I was like, this is it.
This is it.
Yep.
So it tapped into your I'm looking for a politically correct way to say this word, because if not, YouTube is going to ban me.
Oh,
Um, your goddess side. When
sure.
you, me, and Sindel both know what I mean to say, but I can't
Yeah.
say it because it's restreamed on YouTube, and YouTube don't like bad language. So yeah, so that's it's. It was about filling up the room, taking your place.
Yes. And to be a
Wow.
female French horn player, I mean, brass
Mm,
players in general, they tend to
badass.
be. So later on, I went to Rome, like much
Yes.
later on, and I soloed with orchestras there, and I played in this group. And like some of the brass section came from La Scala, but they called me Delicatissima because I was the only female sitting back there in the brass section. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, it's always like all winded, like the trumpetists, and they're always male, or 98.7% of the time. Guys, don't look it up. I don't know the exact number. Okay, just but seriously. Okay, so other than music, and you and I could do a 5 hour live stream just on music,
Yes.
and we would not be done yet. So other than music, what do you do to kill the time? I know you're working on a PhD and you have a house and a husband and stuff, but like, what makes you happy? What brings you joy?
You know, if it's artsy, I'm probably going to dig it because
All
I
right.
paint, I do cross stitch, whatever it is. If it's artsy, then my name is on it somewhere.
Okay.
But the other thing I still do actually is physical fitness. I mean, that's a big part of my life too, just because it's still a way. I mean, I just don't tell anyone. I just turned 50 last year. It's going to be 51 in June. I've earned every wrinkle. They're all mine. But, but even at 50, almost 51, it's still how I manage my
Yeah.
balance and my energy. And if I
Yeah.
don't do something in the morning, I mean, I showed you my temple of the expanded bicep downstairs, with all
Yeah.
my Bruce Lee posters and stuff,
Yes.
because it's just that's what I do to center myself and
Hmm.
bring myself into the moment and get my head prepared and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and physical fitness, whatever form it takes, martial arts or Zumba or salsa dancing or whatever, is a great way to connect with to our bodies.
Yeah.
So, and a healthy body does produce a healthy mind. It's
Yes.
not a myth. It's not something you write on a poster. It just actually works like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you gaining a lot. I can't do the meditation thing. My meditation is, putting Latino music and dancing salsa for 5 hours straight. And these are the only times I forget I'm 52, going on 19.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
I can still kick over my head. So I'm doing
oh
good.
goodness, I was never able to kick over my head.
Well, when you're 5'2", you don't have far to go. Just saying.
I did not expect that one. Holy Mother of God. All right. You said, and I hope that I'm not intruding too much on your private life, but you once said to me in private, and I'm going to use it, that you seriously thought you were never going to get married. You were going to be the lady with 19 cats. And
Yep.
then Dan came along and effed up your plan. So, how did that happen? If you care to share, if not, don't worry about it. I'll find something else to ask.
No, I don't mind, because the whole thing is, I mean, it wasn't supposed to happen. So yeah. So I was living in my car and I was trying to pretend to be a tenured professor at the same time and,
Mm.
and get things together. And these people that were in my fitness classes were the ones who stepped up. And one of the women said, "Look, I have a basement. I have a couch. You're couch surfing anyway. Why don't you just come stay here and you can get some money saved up for first and last and get an apartment?" So I moved in with her, and she was just this awesome lady. Her name's Betsy Trenholm, and she's still out there. And she basically gave me a place to hibernate so that I could
Mm.
try to put myself back together again, because mentally I was just shattered.
Yeah.
There wasn't much left. So we got to the end of a year or two after the first guy had left, which this guy, like I've said, it's not like we shook hands and said goodbye and partied
No, 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 no.
amiably. I
Yeah,
came home from work thinking we were going to talk about an upcoming wedding, and instead there was nothing, and the accounts were cleaned out,
yeah.
which is how I ended up homeless. So she said, all right, it's been X amount of time since he left, and you're too young, and I'm tired of you moping around in my basement. So I'm going to put you online dating sites. And I looked at her, I'm like, no, I am getting the 6 kitten cat lady starter set. I am going to be perfectly happy with big hats and bright lipstick and big red earrings. I'm going to be like redheaded Betty White and be totally happy with it. And she was like, no, you're not going to do that. You're too young for this. You've got too much to give. And I'm like, well, but I don't really want any men. I want cats. And she's like, I'm putting you on. And I'm like, fine. Then you're putting me on for 1 week. You've got 1 week. And she goes, fine. Then I'm going to decide who you go out with. And I'm just going to tell you, you don't have to go. I said, fine, but you still only have 1 week. This is really how the conversation went.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Yeah. And then
I met Dan in that week. People
my,
stay on online dating sites for like years, and
I know.
we met in that week. And I still, I mean, he had a heck of a time with me because I was just kind of like, no, you stay back. You're too close.
Stay away from the woman.
Yep. I had every intention of just holding my breath until it was done and then doing what I wanted to do. And there you go.
Well, I guess it was meant to be. And you guys look like you have so much fun together. I love Dan. I adore him. He's so freaking funny. And yeah, you guys look like you're funny together.
He's my partner in crime.
Yeah.
I think of him more like that than I do as a husband, which I don't know. I mean, I guess that's better than roommate, right? Some people are married and they're like roommates.
Yeah,
Whereas
but aren't they? And I've never been married. I'm not the specialist on this thing. And you know, guys out there, if you think that you're gonna pull what Melissa's friend did to her on me, think again. Okay, so don't even try. But isn't that what marriage is supposed to be? And I'm read that in a book somewhere. Like, isn't this supposed to be like a partnership and supporting one another and just being there for one another and actually liking the person before before the infatuation and the sex and then the I can't live without you attitude?
I think so. I mean,
Well,
people do different things for different reasons. And
true.
that's whatever they want to
Yes.
do, what's right for
True.
them,
Agreed.
I encourage it. But I know
Yeah.
for me, that was definitely the case. And I wasn't willing to settle again, which is why I had just bought into the cat lady thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. And you're right. I mean, there are some people that really do need the fusion and that's okay. As long as both parties are okay with it and satisfied with that, then there's no wrong way of doing this. It's just
Yeah.
I tend to see a lot of people just, like it seems to be an ego thing, like a power struggle between them and their partners. I'm like, well, where's the partnership? But hey, again, I'm the wrong person to and kind of make it pride.
You have to do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the end of the day, the only person you need to answer to is you.
No, goddamn right. I got that down pat. Yeah, I got that down pat. What else do
So-
you do? Like on a rainy Sunday morning, what do you do?
Homework.
Okay, let's say you're not, doing your 7th PhD. Okay, let's say you don't have homework that day.
I also really enjoy baking. I cook, but
What?
yep, I'm getting
didn't
pretty
know
good
that.
at bread.
Wow.
And I've
Okay,
figured
favorite
out
dessert.
it depends on the time of year.
Okay, so go-to recipe to impress someone.
Oh, Boston cream pie with a dark chocolate ganache on top and like actual pastry cream, not like out of a bag, like homemade.
Okay, guys, we're gonna have to end the show now because I'm jumping in my car and I'm driving to Melissa's house. I'll be there in 2 days.
Excellent. That gives me time to make pastry cream.
Yeah, Jason, I agree with you. Nice. And Jason, I'm sorry. By the way, I love this new picture of you. I love it, love it, love it. It's a great picture. And thank you for being here, my friend. I appreciate you.
Can I throw
Um,
a shameless plug in there real quick, actually, since
you can, it's your
already,
show, dude. You can do what the hell you want.
because I'm gonna be out with Jason tonight with Stand Up for Change. So
Yay!
credit
What
where it's
time?
due. Uh, I don't know. I think I'm scheduled to be there at 5:45, so it must be
That's
past
okay,
6.
Jason. We'll put in the comments. And
Yes.
Jason, would you please write in the comments, actually put a link to the event in the comments so that we can all go and support you guys. I'm actually attending a show tonight. So depending on what time your show is, I might be able to catch a glimpse of it. And if not, I'll be thank you,
Yay.
Jason. And put the link, would you please?
Yes.
Um,
Jason and I
yeah.
like to get into trouble, so this will be good. Although you and I get into some pretty good trouble
No,
too.
what do you
So
mean? Yeah, that's the time I leave my house to go see this musician here local, but I'll
nice.
be team replay because whatever you or Jason are doing, I want to support, obviously. And hello to beautiful Kevin that I called mon cœur, and that means my heart because Kevin is my heart. I love him. I just love him. Shameless plug. I am co-hosting an event with, actually, I'm the wing woman. I'm not co-hosting. I'm the wing woman for Kevin's event on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Oh,
And Kevin, darling, please put the link in the chat as well so people can come and I can support you in every way that I can. So Melissa, you watch this show every week or pretty much every week, and you know why I do it is because ever since I started my LinkedIn journey, either I find people looking for their passion, no, their purpose, or I find coaches that are helping other people find their purpose. So, have you found yours, and if so, how?
I think I have. And the irony of it is that it's not at all what I thought it was going to be. I was a little surprised at the way all this is unfolded.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's the way life is supposed to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
So what happened? What made you say, yeah, think I am the empathy queen and I'm gonna make this my living?
by the way, I dig the empathy queen. Oh,
Yes.
that's a Kevin Moreau thing too, but I
I
love it.
know. He's fabulous.
I'm
That's
so
why he's
digging
my
it.
heart.
Yes, yes. So I was out west, and I purposely tried to keep it somewhat vague, just because. But I was out on the West Coast, and I was teaching, and I was doing my music thing, and I was totally happy being that person and being the artist and living the bohemian life and all of this. But in order to get there, I had pretty much left everything behind and just picked up everything with my cat. There's a theme here with the cats.
Yes, yeah. No, there's we see it. We see it.
Yeah, no, it's there. And moved out west. And I had thought this was a really big deal. I mean, to find a French horn professorship, you're lucky if there's 5 that open in a year in the United
Mm,
States, because there just aren't a lot of
yeah.
them.
Mm-mm.
We don't
Excuse me.
have ties to that Western music tradition like they do in Europe and stuff. So you kind of got to take it. You kind of watch the obituaries to see who leaves a position,
Yeah.
is what you
Well,
do.
unfortunate but true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had gone in, I had my professorship. I was so excited. I was geared. I was going to teach. I was going to play. I was going to blow up the world. And I ended up getting assaulted by one of my
Mm,
colleagues, a fellow professor. And everything unraveled.
yeah.
It just, to make a long story short, what I saw was what could happen when you're dealing with people that have no empathy, like dark triad people, like narcissists and sociopaths and
Yeah.
psychopaths. But then the flip side of that was to see how I was treated with the people who had lots of empathy, like these
Mm,
people in my fitness class. So like on a daily basis, I would see these two things juxtaposed and be like, where is the disconnect? You've got all these hyper educated people in the ivory tower that deal with students. If you're going to have empathy anywhere, it should be when you're forming lives.
Yeah.
And yet these people that would walk into my exercise class and wanted nothing more than to lift weights or do martial arts for an hour, they were there. They were like, how can we help you? What do you need? What can we do? And just by showing up and smiling at me, you know, it create a situation for me to get up in the morning. There was a period of time, the only reason I was getting up was because I knew if I didn't feed my cat, no one else would, and that these people were going to be there. And it was really bad. But in the process, it kind of started to sink in that there's something missing here. There's something that's wrong. What is the disconnect? I mean, to say that they're lacking emotional intelligence just didn't even scratch the surface.
No. Like it's deeper than that.
Yeah, way deeper.
Yeah.
And so I had to leave there. I had to leave music. 7 years down, 7 years back up is basically what happened.
Yeah.
But as I was trying to rebuild whatever there was left in myself and put the pieces back together, I just couldn't stop thinking about this. Why are these people okay destroying people? Why are they had nothing to gain. They had nothing to win by doing this. So why did they do it? How could they do it? And that's where I started trying to think about, the piece that was missing. And I kept coming back to the fact that there was no empathy. There was zero empathy. So of course they couldn't connect with their emotional intelligence because they couldn't connect with a person. They probably were completely disconnected with themselves.
Yes.
And
which doesn't excuse anything.
No, it does not.
It doesn't excuse. It explains the behavior, but it doesn't excuse the behavior.
Correct.
Yes.
Because you can change it. You are in control of your destiny, and you can either continue down that path, or you can say, there's something wrong with me, and I really hate to admit it, and it's going to hurt to do it, but I can't keep leaving this path of destruction in my wake.
Yeah.
So, and as you can see, I get riled.
Amen. And don't change that. I want to take a side note for a second, if you will allow me, even though this show is about you, to honor all the absolutely phenomenal, positive, great men we have in the Hounds. Yes. Because last night, as you know, you were watching, I was the co-guest with excuse me, Jason, not Jason, Jason, you're thinking about me, with Stephen Laverne. And Stephen is the one that talked about pay equity. Stephen is the one that said, there is no reason why in 2024, this is 2024 for crying out loud. And that's not the expression I wanted to use for the record, that women don't get paid as much as men. So the Hounds men, and we have so few, I think we're 88% women. The Hounds men are such positive masculinity that aren't afraid to say, hey, I love you. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for all you do for me. Thank you for being you. And aren't afraid to show emotions, aren't afraid to look at what Mike just said 38 minutes ago. We're doing the Hounds, not we are, as him and I, the Hounds are doing a Mother's Day show hosted by men highlighting mothers, either their spouses, their own mothers, or just another Hounds member that just happens to be a mother. And that is such a great idea. And by the way, not my idea. It was Mike's idea to take all these great men, positive masculinity, and say, hey, you know what? Let's show the world that we can not only love our mothers, but our spouses that are our mothers, and our friends that are mothers, and let's pay tribute to all of them. And my heart was full.
Yeah.
So, end of side note, I just wanted to say thank you to all of the men in the hounds that are doing such great, being such great, beautiful examples of what real men are.
Yes.
Back to you, honey. No, I can, but seriously, talk about taking crap and making something beautiful out of it, because that's what you did. I mean, there's nothing easy about going to this kind of trauma. There's nothing easy. And you could have easily said, hey, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be that victim. But you said, hell no. And to a high cost, you said, hell no. This is not what I'm going to be doing with my life. I am not going to not only, quote unquote, let him attack me. I'm going to take that and turn it into something extremely positive. And kudos for you to doing that, because it takes a lot of courage and it takes an insane amount of strength.
Thank you.
So I'm very proud, and I'm going to change the subject because I'm going to start crying soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for being there. And you're so much fun. Not right now, but no. No. That was a joke, guys. Okay. Lilissa and I, we love one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, seriously. Thank you. So yeah, we Kevin. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you would like to say about you?
Well, I love you.
About you.
Oh, about me.
About you. You are in the light now.
If there's one thing that I really, really miss about teaching, and teaching college students in particular, I mean, they were just my jam. I loved it. It was this ability to be able to talk to people and say, you've got this. Whatever it is you want to do, whoever it is you want to be, think about it. Think about it hard, because you can do this. There's always a price to pay. There's work to put in, but you've got this. And I see people every day that are like, well, I'm in my job and I'm just going to stay in my job because I've been in my job, even though I hate my boss, I hate my life, I'm not making enough money, I'm doing all this stuff. And I understand that, because there was actually a period where I had to make a really solid decision and say, am I going to allow this to be the end point? Or is there something more? And it was a struggle. I'm not going to say it was like, hey, I'm just going to do this, because it wasn't. It took years to figure out. And I still didn't figure it out. I fumbled around a lot. I still do. It's part of my charm. But
yes, it is.
Yes. But if there's one thing I wish I could give to everybody, it's that understanding that you can do whatever you want to do.
Yes.
You can be whoever you want to be. And it may take years. It may take decades.
That's okay.
It may take sacrifice, but it's possible. And do not lose that hope.
Mm-hmm.
People lose that spark of hope. And you can see it, like that fire's just gone. But you can't lose that spark, because from that spark, you can start the greatest fire.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. I got nothing to add. I always end my show with giving my guests the opportunity to ask me whatever they want. And side note, because I'm seeing Kevin's comment, Kevin will be my guest next week. So
Yay!
Come join. And thank you for switching with him last minute, because you were supposed to be next week and now you're here. So I always end my show the same way. I offer my guests the opportunity to ask me what the hell they want. So Melissa, do you have a question for me?
Yes, I do.
You came in the backstage saying you had a question for me, so I'd be surprised if the answer was no. But yeah, go
Oh, I
ahead.
do my research. I do my research.
I'm afraid.
So everybody knows that you are a hounds of business juggernaut, that you are a force of nature,
Yes, I am.
that Hurricane Isabel is coming through. So stand back. But what they
Okay,
may
I
not,
didn't think that was the talk in the town, but yeah, okay.
well, it is in my head. I have all
Okay,
sorts of
okay,
voices in there.
I'm listening.
But what they may not know is that you're actually a very polished professional speaker. You're going to
No.
be having audiences nationally and internationally. And I have absolutely no doubt about this. It's
Thank you.
only a matter of time.
Thank you.
So, with this being the case, and we're just going to use this as our understanding, what's your TED Talk going to be about?
That's a good question. It's going to be about how when you actually make the other person the central focus of every conversation, that is how you get what you want. And you can't fake this shit.
Yeah.
It has to be real. So you have to truly put the other person in be the entire focus. And if you focus on what they want, you get what you want. That's what my tech talk is going to be about.
That's going to be fantastic. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait.
I'm actually doing a in-person live event in Toledo, Ohio with my great friend and brother from another mother, Derek Gant. He's putting this shindig together, and I'm going to be one of the speakers on the 24th of August, and it's going to be in Toledo, Ohio. I don't have the details, like there's no promo yet created. As soon as it is, I'm going to put it in my content, obviously. And yeah, I can't wait. And Derek, we met because I was a guest on his podcast, and within, just like you and I, within the first 60 seconds, I'm like, okay, so we're going to be friends. And
Yeah.
he felt the same way, and we started a conversation that will never be over. And sometimes we talk 3 times in the next week, and the following week we don't talk at all, and that's okay because the love is there. And he's just another brother. Yeah. And he was a guest. I think he was the second or third guest on this show. So if you don't know him, I will put it in the show in the comment section a little later. His name is Derek Gant, and I strongly recommend you all connect with this guy. Tell him his baby sister sent you to him, and he will open his heart and his mind and his knowledge to you. He's such a great guy. I love him, love him, love him, love him. So that's it.
I think that's a fantastic answer. And
Thank you.
I can't wait. I will
Thank
be
you.
there in person.
Oh, is Toledo far from you?
It's far enough, but
Okay.
I think I can kind of make a swing over and then up to see my dad.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, listen, always, you and I could talk forever, whether we're on screen or not. Two things before we go. The first one is May 13th at noon Eastern. We are going to be live again. And this time we are going to be talking about empathy in families and couples. And that kind of came about. Actually, Cinda suggested we do that when we were talking backstage at the end of our last event together. So Cinda, again, being so extraordinary, and I know I'm about to lose her because she's gonna get snatched away and she's going to do great things. And I wish her nothing less than that because she deserves it all. And I'm going to cry because she's going to be too busy to, help me. And that's okay because it's good for her. So, May 13th, noon Eastern. Check out your invitation box. We're going to send you guys invitations so you can come to that event. And before we go, how can we connect with you? How can you help us? And what do you do and who do you do it for?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. So you can DM me there. I do have a website. It's called EQ Via Empathy. You can catch me there. You can also catch me on YouTube. And I'm always looking for more subscribers because that's where I play with what I'm doing and figure out how to flesh it out because I have a book coming out in September. I'm so excited. I am really excited about that. Because what I do is I teach leaders how to use empathy to tap into EQ. And I do it in a way that is actionable. So I know you've heard this. It's not puppies and rainbows and unicorns and cotton candy and fluffy stuff. Which that's fine. But business leaders need to know how to use it. So my job is to be able to help them do this to increase innovation, to increase productivity, and increase revenue. That's right. So if anybody wants to have a chat so that we can figure out what I can do to help, I have my Calendly up on LinkedIn and I would love to have a half an hour chat and see what we can do.
And I strongly recommend you do that and get to know her, if only to get to know her. And you're going to see how fabulous she truly is. Melissa, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, I will catch you next week with my love, mon cœur, Kevin Morrow. And I promise we will speak in English, at least most of the time. Catch you next week, guys. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.